What's up everyone, Alex here. So last week I was pretty busy with my trip to LA and making videos from that experience. But one piece of detail that I completely missed and just kind of glossed over is the fact that Square Enix talked about the Visions of Mana game during the Xbox Developer Direct. Now, in this video, I want to summarize everything that they've talked about in that Xbox Direct, as well as other information that they've actually released on the Square Enix blog. And needless to say, this is one of my most anticipated games of 2024 because I just love the Mana series, especially after playing the Trials of Mana remake. Which is one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to set aside like a good bit of time so that we can actually talk about this game uninterrupted and undistracted by everything else that's happening around us. So according to Square Enix, you take the role of Val in Visions of Mana, who is a curious and carefree young man who lives in the fire village of Tenea. Once every 4 years, the fairy visits regions of the world to choose alms, people who are fated to travel to the Tree of Mana, which presides over the world's vital flow of mana. Val invites his childhood friend to a festival to welcome the visitor, but as the night falls, the sky lights up with sparkling lights and the fairy chooses her as the alm. With the blessings of his village, Val sets out on a journey to accompany his friend to the Tree of Mana as her soul guard. In both the Square Enix blog post and the Xbox Developer Direct, Square Enix actually started opening up more information about how Visions of Mana plays. And what we've gleaned so far is that the game is going to feature a semi-open field. To me, what that means is that the areas in the game are going to be massive, but they're all going to be connected by either a loading screen or a loading corridor. We don't really know, but the bottom line is that there's going to be massive areas, which will then be funneled down to like either a tunnel or a loading screen, which then leads you to a larger area, which doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I think actually having massive open world that basically characterize one particular zone allows the game to showcase specific biomes in an easier way. Like, you don't have to worry about a spring-like biome design transitioning into a snowy, wintry kind of biome within that same area. You can just have a loading corridor or a loading screen and boom, you're in a brand new area. You don't have to worry about that stuff. So I completely understand that. And because we're talking about biomes and the Secret of Mana series, we all know that the series themes of nature and the elemental aspects of mana are going to be represented here in the best ways possible, with Square Enix bringing a lot more attention to the stunningly detailed environments and the vibrant colored graphics. What's also very interesting about Visions of Mana is that they're also expanding aerial combat. This basically means that players will be able to use physical and magical attacks in mid-air, and the Xbox presentation actually showcases this to great effect. To the point where I actually started thinking to myself, like, ooh, that's gonna be exciting trying to string up combos so that I can juggle enemies in the air and keep them there while I'm actually still in the air. And using a combination of both my physical attacks and magic skills to juggle opponents, that sounds like a really good recipe for a fantastically good time. Now, what's not shown in the announcement trailer and the Xbox trailer is party-based gameplay, and on the Square Enix blog, they did confirm that it will still feature party-based combat, adding that the party-based combat is real-time and fast-paced with lots of strategic depth. Now, my question is, by party-based combat, does it actually mean that there will be party members on the field, or that you can switch between different party members as the primary character you control in a seamless fashion? But I'm pretty sure we'll find out more about that later. One of the cooler new features of Vision of Mana is actually a mount called Pikul. Pikul's design is a cross between a Yorkshire Terrier and Anubis from Egyptian lore, and Koichi Ishii, who is the father of the Mana series, actually led the design of this mount. And it's so cute when you see Pikul loaf like that. The animations give Pikul a lot of flavor and character that brings a tinge of believability to the world that only the best animated media can deliver. Koichi Ishii is also back to help translate his sprite-based designs into full 3D characters, but he's not the only one actually coming back to work on this game. Masaru Oyamada, who worked on the Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana remake, as well as the Legend of Mana remasters and more, is back to produce Visions of Mana, as well as Hiroki Kikuta, who is the composer of both the Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana releases back in the 90s and the Trials of Mana remake in 2020. Tsuyoshi Sekito, who worked on the Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana remakes, as well as Echoes of Mana and more, and Ryo Yamazaki, who worked on the Trials of Mana remake and Echoes of Mana. The character design is being handled by Hakan, who worked on Adventures of Mana and both the Secret of Mana and Trials of Mana remakes. The monster illustrations are actually being done by Airi Yoshioka, who worked on Dawn of Mana, Children of Mana, and Heroes of Mana, with of course supervision by Koichi Ishii. And there's actually a more defined release window for Visions of Mana, with the Xbox Developer Direct slotting the game in a summer 2024 release. Now, there's also rumors that the game is coming out on Game Pass on day one, but these are still unsubstantiated rumors that I'm actually hoping is true because that'd be a big splash, especially given that the Mana series has never been on an Xbox platform before, and this would be a great title to be the first one. Overall, I think Visions of Mana is turning out to be more exciting. The fact that they added some extended aerial combat makes this kind of akin to like a character action game, but probably more accessible than those games, in such a way that you'll be using a combination of your physical attacks plus your magic abilities to do crowd control and a lot of juggling that could make the combat potentially fun. Obviously, party-based gameplay, we don't really know what that is. Is it going to be like Ys? Is it going to be like Trials of Mana? Who knows? But what I'm hoping for is that they learned the lessons from Trials of Mana, especially with the AI, that's actually a lot better than that game. Because while the game was great, the AI was quite problematic, let's put it that way. At any rate, Visions of Mana looks stunning and fantastic, and the soundtrack just promises to be an incredible one that's gonna have 100 tracks, so they said. So I think there's a lot to be excited for this game, but I want to hear what you think. Which part of Visions of Mana are you really excited about? Post your thoughts in the comments below, and let's talk about it. Thank you very much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.